All right, hello guys, welcome. I am testing out the Capricorn reading with the service and everything. Okay, so just give me 1 second before we actually start. But we are going to be doing Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for the next 48 hours. Okay, make sure to take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Use common sense, okay? And make sure to like the video, subscribe if you have not already. Oops, okay, hold on. Oh, okay. There we go. Hopefully that works. All right, let me see. And I gotta make sure you guys can hear me because I do not have my mic on right now. So 1 second. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. I gotta make sure you guys can hear me because I do not. Yay! Okay, cool. The sound is good. Let's hope it stays that way. Okay, oh my gosh. Yay! Okay. I hate the sun out right now because it's super hot and I don't want to have my car running, but I'm gonna turn it on for a second so I don't die. Okay, welcome in. We are doing Capricorn placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Okay, all right, I'll turn that off. Is it too loud? Actually, I may keep that on for a second because I don't think the air is too loud. Okay, so we should be good. Okay, Capricorn placements. The reading officially starts at 2 minutes, okay? So let's see. All right, what is going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for the next 48, okay? I just heard compost, okay? So some of you guys could be doing something with the compost, okay? Or getting rid of, make sure you turn something off, Capricorn, okay? Or you could be getting turned off in the next 48 by something or someone, okay? But I was getting something about like compost, so if you know, you know, okay? But let's see what's going on for what's going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, next 48. Okay, some of you guys could have Taurus in your chart or be dealing with the Taurus. I also feel like you're going to not want to commit to somebody or something because, like I just said, yeah, the channel message, you could be getting turned off by something or someone, okay? Make sure to like the video if you're in here. Let's see what's going on for Capricorn. Yeah, you may decide that you don't actually want to be solid about someone, okay? You don't want to commit to them. Let's see. I need to move back a little bit. Okay. Yeah, you could be dealing with a Libra too, okay? But I feel like something is going to kind of throw you off in the next 48. So if you're dealing with a love situation, this could be someone that you've been dealing with, and I don't know if they say something or they bring up something from the past that kind of just like turns you off completely, okay? And you're like, you know what, I don't even want to be with you anymore. I'm good, okay? So some of you guys might be experiencing something like that. And if it's not a love situation, you might, you know, it could be a job. You might notice that something about the current job you're at is just completely all out of whack, okay? Something is not in order, something's not structured, something hasn't been going well, something has been throwing you off your game, okay? Whatever you want to call it. And I feel like this is something that is not changing for the better, okay? Something is staying stagnant. So whether it's love or a work situation, you know, you're saying no, okay? Or you're throwing your hands up, you're giving it to God, okay? Or you're walking away from something, okay? Love or money, guys. Could be both. All right, let's see. Yeah, because it's no longer making you happy, okay? We have the Sun card reversed. Some of you guys could have Leo in your chart. Yeah, okay. So yeah, basically Capricorn, I see you guys just choosing not to engage with something or some place or someone anymore in the next 48, okay? And that's, you know, sometimes that's what you got to do to protect yourself, especially if something has been overworking you in a relationship too. Like, you know how I think I mentioned that yesterday in the Virgo reading that I did for the all signs. So some of you guys could have Virgo in your chart or be dealing with one. Um, but I mentioned how the Virgos could be in a relationship, but their partner never does shit, right? So you could be, if you're dealing with something like that, you know, if you're tired of doing all the work, you know, tired of, you know, even if you're a woman, you could be taking care of the more masculine duties of the house or whatever, or of the relationship, and you're tired of it because, you know, if you have a boyfriend who sits on his ass all day, you know, and he doesn't really contribute, what's the necessity for a relationship at that point, you know? So because you could be just friends with somebody if they're not going to actually contribute in a relationship, you know? um so I hope that makes sense. But anyways, let's see. A lot of you guys could be dealing with a love situation, but it doesn't have to be. Some of you guys feel trapped, Capricorn. You feel trapped in a situation, okay? Yeah, you feel stuck, okay? We got the Hanged Man. I'm also hearing claustrophobic, okay? So some of you guys could definitely feel claustrophobic in the next 48, or you've been feeling that way. I feel like this is something not new, okay? So whether it's work, love, it could be a family situation. You know, you could be cooped up in the house with your family for so long and you're just like, I don't like y'all. I don't like y'all right now. You know, we never get along. Like, I need to remove myself, okay? So you could be deciding what you want to do about a toxic environment or a toxic situation, okay? um and you know, like I always say to you guys, you don't have to be beat. You don't have to be cheated on, you know. You can leave a relationship or a situation if you're not happy. It's literally that simple, okay? So somebody may need to hear that. You know, because some people stay in relationships, they're like, oh well, they haven't done anything wrong. If you're not happy, you're not happy, okay? Whatever that means to you, okay? Work, love, money, whatever. um if you feel like you would be at peace when you remove yourself, or if you feel like you would be happier somewhere else, or even with somebody else, or in a different situation, that's okay, and you can leave. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Because I feel like a lot of times these days people stay in situations that they're not actually happy in, and then they wonder why their life is stagnant. They wonder why their money's not improving, you know. Especially as Capricorns, you know, when you're not in a healthy mindset or a healthy environment, it can definitely affect the rest of your life, okay? um Especially your money. So let's see what's going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for the next 48. Okay, some of you guys could have Capricorn, not Capricorn, Cancer in your chart, okay? I feel like you guys need to work on nurturing yourself, okay? And some of you guys could play the role of a mom, even if you're like the sibling of a family, okay? So some of you guys could have mother issues, or you feel like you have to take on the role of a parent for your parent, okay? So some of you guys could be dealing with something like that, yeah. And you're tired of it. And that I totally get that, okay? And if you're in a relationship, some of you guys may be getting a divorce or be deciding to, you know, finally sign those papers, okay, or something like that. But if you feel trapped, Capricorn, you know, I don't know if it's something that you believe in, like if you have a certain belief system that you feel like you have to stay in some situation, but you don't, okay? It's 2025. You can get a divorce, all right? I don't know. It's not the 1900s or whatever or prior. So if you want to leave, you can leave. I'm just saying. Um, and stop caring about what other people think about, you know, oh, you know, John and Mary got divorced, you know, she should have just sucked it up and, you know, stayed with him. No, if you're not happy, you're not happy, and you can leave, okay? So that's all it takes, you know. You don't have to wait till something gets awful to walk away from a situation, okay? Love or not. Hello, welcome in. All right, let's see what else is going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. I feel like somebody already betrayed you, or your job, or your, like I said, it could be either or. But we have the Seven of Swords here too. Something has already gone wrong. Like somebody backstabbed you, or there's some sort of shady business going on here. Okay, so what are you waiting for? Why are you staying around in a situation that, you know, like ask yourself that, Capricorn. What are you waiting for? Because I don't see anything. Most of these cards are reversed. I don't see anything that is benefiting you in the situation anymore. Okay, so, you know, figure out what you want to do. And look, two of Cups reversed and the World card. There's no emotion here anymore. You guys don't trust each other, or you don't trust your job. Okay, something like that. And so why are you there? Like I said, I do see you guys throwing your hands up and, you know, deciding to finally walk away. But if you decide to linger around any longer, it's going to be the same shit. So it's over. We got the World card. Okay, a certain cycle has been, I feel like the universe is waiting for you to walk away. Okay, because it's been over. Whatever situation this is, it's been over. All right, let's see. Let's get a few more for Capricorn. Some of you guys also, maybe, I don't know if you noticed or not, but for some of you, man or woman, you could have been like not taking care of yourself as much. Okay, what do they call it? Boyfriend air. I guess it can happen for men too, right? When you're yeah, it does happen for men too. I've seen it with some of my old homeboys. They definitely look better when they're outside of a toxic relationship. You know, it literally can affect your appearance. So, you know, if you care about looks, you know, you might notice that when you finally leave a toxic person or a toxic environment, you look better. You literally look better. Okay, it's a real thing. Okay, so I remember even when I just it was in 2018 when I was in a really abusive situation with my ex. I'm not going to get into that, but when I finally left him, even my friends were like, girl, all right, I think this is ridiculous. Hold on. Let's see if this even has resumed or whatever. Oops. Okay. I might have to keep the air on for a second. We're almost done anyway, so it's okay. I just don't want my battery to die, because that's what happened last year all the time when I left my car on. So let's wrap this up, Capricorn, okay? Thank you if you're still watching. But yeah, take that as a sign, Capricorn. You could be getting overwhelmed. Okay, you might get overly, you know, you might have angry moods. Okay, so you gotta let something go. You gotta take a break or release yourself from turn that down. Release yourself from toxicity. Okay, because when you have that mental breakdown, you know, you'll see why you should have removed yourself before. Okay, or sooner. Something may be like the last straw for you in the next 48, Capricorn. Okay, yeah, look, remember what I was just talking about, like something to do with your looks or your beauty. Okay, we have the Empress. Once you walk away from this toxic situation, job or not, love situation, family, whatever, you will literally notice yourself looking better. Okay, I'm not saying you don't look good already, but you'll look better. Okay. I also want to say, if you find yourself to be always, whether you're around friends, family, or, you know, it could be a job, whatever. Some of you guys might be dealing with all three, okay, of those types of situations, because I keep bringing up all three for some reason, okay? But if you find yourself always wanting to smoke, always wanting to drink when you're in a certain environment, that's not the place for you, okay? If you can't be sober in a certain environment or around a certain person, that's not a good sign. You know, sometimes you have to reevaluate who you have around you and what you guys are always doing when you're around each other or when you're in a certain environment. Okay, does that make sense? So yeah, reevaluate, pivot, adjust, and keep it pushing. Okay, that's what I got for you guys. I'm going to do Aquarius. I'm gonna let my phone cool down. I'm gonna see if I can park right over there in the shade a little bit, because I can't have my phone doing all that shit over and over. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this resonated. Let things play out. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you would like a personal reading, make sure to read my bio. Okay, personal readings are available anytime. Just make sure to read my bio and all the information there. Okay, that being said, I will see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna park in the shade so that this doesn't happen again. All right, thank you guys. See you in a second.